Right. Right then, good evening mon ami. Comment ça va? Hope you're all well. Welcome to FRO log number 12. Now this is going to be something a little shorter than the others, because it's a simplish subject and something I'm hoping you might all join me on. Now this particular FRO is something that makes me a little sad. So it's not really FRO, it's just something to whinge about. And that's what the FROs are. A bit of fun and something to whinge about. And you know me, gotta have a wine. So, it passed. This particular FRO involves the family of bikers, the fraternity, the brotherhood, or should I say more importantly, the apparent demise of it. It would appear that by and large, the brotherhood of biking, the family of biking, is a little dead in the water these days, which makes me really want to cry. Because I've been a rider for quite a long time now, and I remember what it used to be like. And I know, cynical old git whining about the old days. Yep, that's me. But it truly is sad because there's a loss here. But it is something that's understandable, and there is a remedy. What I'm talking about is that when I first started riding a bike was 1981, and my love of bikes was born by watching the blokes riding bikes around my hometown in the 70s when I was growing up. And in the 70s there was only one kind of biker, because there was only one kind of bike. Think about it. Back in the 1970s there were no sports bikes, there were no tourers, no adventure bikes, not much in the way of cruisers. They were just bikes. Your generic UJM, as it's been coined, the Universal Japanese Motorcycle, the Suzuki GS750, the Z1000, the CB900 et al. That kind of stuff that it's just a bike. Wheels, tank, bars, seat, flat, done. And that's all. And that's all there really was. There are a few examples and a few exceptions, should I say, but by and large, bikes were pretty much all the same. So therefore, by and large, pretty much all bikers were roughly about the same. We were pretty much one bunch of morons. We did the same kind of thing. You kind of had the same lifestyle. It was bike rallies. Who remembers bike rallies? How brilliant. Little local bike rallies. Real ale at 50 pence a pint. Getting pissed out your head with your mates at the weekend. Having a laugh. Riding around the town like idiots for the sake of it. Not going anywhere in particular. Parking up and just chilling out. Listening to ridiculous music from Hawkwind and Deep Purple. But hey, that's the past. There's enough reminiscing. The point here is we were once upon a time one kind of biker. But not anymore. Now we are many. Many different kinds of biker, and with that comes many different mentalities. And I'm talking about things like the touring bike, the adventure bike, the cruiser bike, the extreme sports bikes, the retro muscle bikes, the street fighters, the rat and survival bikes. All different genres that have developed. And there is a tide line, a line in the sand when it began. And it was at the end of the 70s. It was in that wonderful time in my growing up hood, if you like, when the birth of the 1980s saw the splitting up of genres. And I believe a lot of it was accidental. The sports bike genre came about in the early 80s. The production racing rules changed and you had to build a certain amount of bikes, like the track bikes, in order to sell them or race them under class or whatever. And that meant things like the GSXR 750, the first ever slab side, the F, which was for Japan only, and the H, which came to Britain, and then onwards from there to the modern GSXR 750 that exists today, probably the longest running bike of all time. So the sports bike was born. Kawasaki, the GPZ 600R, who remembers them? Wonderful. Proper sports bikes for the first time. The cruiser bike genre or thought thing was born at the same time around the early 80s, because that was the time that Harley Davidson finally shook off the shanks and chains of AMF, kicked them up the arse and threw them out, and managed to set up their own affairs again and recovered after the doldrums of the old 70s stuff. And they invented the blockhead motor, or the Evolution engine. So Harley's had a resurgence and a rebirth. And that meant quite naturally, quite obviously, the Japanese followed suit and copied them in order to cash in. So we were blessed through the 80s with these wonderful factory custom bikes. The GS850 Lowrider, the Kawasaki Z1000 LTD, or Limited, or whatever they were called. They were basically the same as the original bike, but with a little stumpy, fat 16-inch rear wheel, a step seat and some cow horn bars. That's about it. That was your custom bike. But the factory custom cruiser style, the factory custom bikes of the 80s evolved into the fantastic cruiser market we've got today. Things like the awesome Intruder from Suzuki, the big 1900 Intruder. Kawasaki, I think, ended up with a big 2-litre thing. And look where Harley Davidson have gone. They're just from strength to strength. Probably one of the top motorcycle companies in the world now. So that era of the 80s changed all of us. It split us as a group, a single-minded fraternity of brotherhood. We split into different groups, and naturally the new bloods came in with a more focused view. All this is an FRO, believe me, stick with it, I'll go there. It meant that those who didn't really want to be a biker, or a greb, as somebody who I follow recently announced them to be. This is the chopper fraternity, the greasy jeans and cut-offs fraternity. If you didn't want to be one of them, and yet you wanted to go around the world, or you wanted to masquerade around like a policeman and swagger about with your high-vis and wave your certificates to everyone about how safe you are, then you could go and do ROSPA and become an advanced rider. Or if you wanted to go around the world on an adventure bike, go and ride the Road of Bones on your way to work, you could go and buy a GS1000. Who remembers that? You think your GS1250 is a new thing? It's not. Look up the original BMW GS1000. It was a modified street bike, and that was the first proper adventure bike. Amazing machine. I loved it. I thought it was brilliant. I remember a picture in Superbike magazine from about 1983. Some bloke stood up on the pegs riding one up the side of a mountain. Never seen that kind of thing before. It wasn't motocross, it wasn't enduro, it was just cross-country riding. Brill. So all these genres are brill, but what's not brill, what can fuck right off, is how it split us all up into different mentalities of people. And it is real. If you think it ain't, it is. Just consider this. You go and pull up to a bike meet in your greasy levers and your long Babylon. There you go. You pull up to a bike meet in your levers and your tassels and your badges on your cut-off with your ape hangers on your chopper. Come on, they've gone now. Oh, fuck. Fucking growing a beard here, you dickwad. And then you go up and talk to someone in a high visibility jacket with his IAM sticker. He'll probably ignore you, probably turn his nose up. There's certain genres of people, the extreme edges of that difference, they don't talk to each other. Sports bike riders swaggering about like Power Rangers in their Teletubby suits. Do they go over and talk to the chopper riders and the Harley guys? No. And that's tragic. That can fuck right off. Why not? They're your fellow bikers, you dipshits. What are you playing at? We're all in it together. We all bear the same crosses out on the roads from these car driver people. We all face the same dangers. So we should be the brotherhood we always were. It has split. Maybe it's the touring fraternity. Maybe it's these people who can download a route. I do know a younger rider who's got very much into the whole advanced distance thing, and he likes to do nothing more on a Saturday than download a route from the internet, put it into his satellite navigation thingamabob, and follow it all day. come home at 5 o'clock with 1,000 miles missing off his tyre and 3 tanks of petrol gone for some weird and bizarre reason. There's no fraternity in that, there's no brotherhood in that, they're not your mates, are they? They're just other riders you might ride with. Okay, you do what you like. Each to their own, as the saying goes. We should respect each other's choices, but the new riders coming in are not feeling the love. They're not feeling the brotherhood. I get so many videos that I make, and people say, it's wow, you upload this shit and this is great and you really help, blah 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 blah. Thank you, I appreciate all of your appreciation. I truly do. And I wouldn't have it any other way. But the thing that I ask everyone to do is pass it on. It is a brotherhood. Help out your fellow rider. If you see someone who needs your help, pass it on. If you learn a bit of knowledge, pass it on. It's part of what the whole family thing was about. We don't own it. Nobody owns information. It doesn't belong to anyone. The ability to change some fork seals or swap out your brake pads, it ain't your information. You don't own it. Pass it on. Share the love. Save your mates some money. Because the more money we save, we can go and buy a new bike. Or take your girlfriend out for a drink, whatever. The fact is that brotherhood, the loss of it due to the generic split of bikes and the difference in lifestyles now, the lifestyle choices of so many bikers are different to others. They're not mixing. People don't mix. They don't mix together anymore like they used to. You stand at a bike meet and stand back and watch. And you watch the chopper riders, the Harley riders turn up and stand and talk to themselves only. Then you watch the sports bike riders, the Power Rangers will all pull in on their Gixxers and sports bikes. And they'll only stand and talk to each other. What's all that about? That's a crying shame and it can fuck right off. Spread the love, talk to each other. The bike rally, the death of the bike rally. The good old fashioned camp in a field, listen to rubbish bands, blah blah blah, that's all gone. You don't really see rallies. They do exist, they do go on, but they're fringe now, they're not the norm. And that's really sad. Perhaps as time goes forward, we could all do a little something. I've done this a few times and it works, and I'll give you this as a little experiment, right? Just try this. Next time you go to a bike meet, have a look round for a bike that's as opposite to yours as you possibly can find. If you ride a sports bike, try and find some big tourer with boxes on it, or a gold wing, or a raggedy rat bike and matte black and chains and ropes on it. Or if you ride a Harley, or whatever it is, if you've got top boxes and you've done your advanced riding, walk over to one of the Power Rangers, or one of the HOG members, and just say this: "Alright mate, how's it going?" That's your opener. If he says, "What?" and ignores you and walks away, well, don't embarrass yourself any further. But he won't, because he's a biker of sorts, and he'll go, "Yeah, alright mate." And then you just got to ask him this: "Nice bike mate, how long you had it?" And stand back, and I guarantee you, he'll talk your ass off. 10 minutes later, you'll still be standing there listening to anecdotes and stories of what he's done on that bike. Before you know it, you'll probably even be sitting on it, because underneath all the trepidation and the shyness to mix with people of different genres and people of different bike styles, we're all still there. We're all still a brotherhood. So the change that needs to happen is we just need to break down our prejudices, stop taking the piss, and realise that we're all on the same side a bit more. And I know this is a worthy and righteous FRO, I know that, but it matters to me. It really does, because I remember what it was like, and I know that the newbies coming in today are not experiencing that because it's gone, and that's a shame. They're missing out. Let's give them some of it. I know there's plenty of plenty of you lot that watch these gibbering videos. I know that you are older riders. You've been doing it since the day, you know, back in the day. So bring on the newbies. Go nod at a scooter rider. Scooter riders are the next generation of motorcyclists. If they get treated with respect and a little bit of cool and a little bit of street, you know what I mean, by the average biker, they're going to think, bikers are pretty cool actually, I might like to be one. So rather than, when he becomes a 16 or 17, going off and buying a Vauxhall Corsa and becoming a Barry boy, he might just go and get his Mod 1 and 2 and get a license, buy a 600 and become one of us. And that's brilliant. Remember that the Motorcycle Action Group and the British Motorcycle Federation, two of the finest shining examples of socialist pressure on governments that you'll ever get, they lobby the ridiculous European Parliament constantly to stop ridiculous legislation coming into place that will kill our love, our lifestyle, that will kill off biking forever. They've stopped airbags being fitted to bikes. Hey, that ain't no comedy thing. If you've never heard of that, look it up. It was well proposed. It was going to happen. Leg protectors stuck to the side of your bike. Big metal pods out the side of your bike that would have been fitted from the factory. Type approval that meant you could not buy an accessory if it didn't have the right badge on it. And they would cost more money because the accreditation of the badge was all involved in the price. All of that has been thrown out the way. Stupid European laws that were proposed by MAG and the BMF, so support them. They will bring us together. They will unite us. So let's get back to that. That's really, really important. So enough of my old waffle. I'm going to call it a day there. The degrading of the family of biking, the brotherhood of biking as it used to be, can fuck right off. We're all on the same side. We should all get on a little bit better and not worry about what we ride, whether it's an adventure bike, a cruiser, a rat bike, a Harley Davidson, or whether we're an advanced Rosmer Gold instructor. Get your head out your arse and realise that everyone on two wheels is your fellow rider. This is a glorious ride home. Look at this lovely evening. So there we go. Thanks for tuning in and watching our Delboys are whinging. I truly appreciate all of your comments and debate. It is just a bit of fun. It is not serious. Please don't keep flaming me. It's boring and I will just delete you. I couldn't care less. If you don't like it, watch something else. This is a bit of release between the garage videos on a ride home. That's all, folks. So there we go, cyclist. Just gonna nip through there then. Ride safe, and I mean that. It is silly season. It's the spring culling time for bikers to lose their lives. We've got 4 in our local area since January, tragically. Take it easy, and I mean that. Ride safe. And I'll see you next time.